I want to ask you a friendly question, and I want to ask you an unfriendly question.
Okay. Which one first?
The friendly question, but you're going to think it's unfriendly.
Okay. Great.
I'm going to zero into a specific part of the budget. The President, with regard to the future of manned spaceflight, appointed a blue ribbon panel. Basically, in your budget that you've announced, you have accepted the recommendations of the blue ribbon panel, which is called the Norman Augustine panel. With the exception of what they said for meaningful human spaceflight for the future of what you had to spend. Here's what the Augustine Commission said. Human exploration beyond low Earth orbit is not viable under the FY 2010 budget guideline. We agree with that. And they went on to say, meaningful human exploration is possible by increasing annual expenditures by approximately $3 billion in real purchasing power above the 2010 guidance. And of course, you haven't done that. You want to explain, and that is my friendly question.
Okay, can't wait for the unfriendly one. Senator, as you know, we increased NASA funding by $6 billion over the next 5 years, including an increase in between 2010 and 2011, despite an overall non-security discretionary freeze. So NASA is one of the agencies experiencing an increase. I would also note, and I'll leave the science to my colleagues, Dr. Holdren and others, but that Mr. Augustine has issued a statement strongly in support of the direction that that is reflected in this budget for the future of NASA.
I choose to disagree with that characterization. It was a namby-pamby, watered-down statement that was oblique at best. All right, so in essence, you're saying that in the totality of spending and so forth, that you all couldn't afford the Augustine's recommendations of $3 billion a year for human spaceflight.
No, I don't know that that's the way I would describe it. I think that, again, under the leadership of our scientific and NASA leaders, there is a new course being charted for the future of human spaceflight that involves more advanced technologies, longer range R&D, investments in technologies that will help us leapfrog existing technologies and allow us to have human space flight to different parts of the solar system.
All of which are necessary, all of which were in the Augustine Commission report, and of which you've embraced, but you can't do it on the cheap. And that's the big difference. Okay, now for my final question. You accepted the Augustine Commission's report saying that we're going to develop a commercial rocket that'll be a space taxi that will basically get us to and from the International Space Station. You extended the space station to 2020, and I mean, we've spent $100 billion and are still constructing it. We now need to make it pay off like a national laboratory. All of that's good. The problem is that you have put all the eggs in the basket of assuming that those commercial rockets are going to work and that NASA is not going to have to spend a lot more in making those commercial rockets manned, safe for humans. And you have cut off the testing and development of an alternative rocket. There is no fail-safe position. If those commercial rockets don't work, then for the foreseeable future of the next decade or so, we're going to be reliant on the Russians just to get to and from our space station. Now, that's what I wanted to talk to you privately out there about, and we were interrupted. I want you to take that for consideration, and that's got to be changed, Dr. Orszag. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.